It seems only fitting on this momentous occasion that my Percy Jackson video features the Cinderella's Castle mural that my mom painted me when I was 7. Because guess what, y'all? Percy Jackson is coming to Disney Plus! I am Emma Tobias, and I am 25 years old, and I love Percy Jackson. I wanted to make this video that's all about my love for Percy Jackson because I'm feeling so happy. This afternoon it was announced by Rick Riordan and his wife Becky that finally we are getting the Percy Jackson film television adaptation that we have so long deserved. This video is about why I love Percy Jackson and specifically my emotional connection to the story and the books and the way in which I feel like Percy Jackson made me become a reader and how profound its impact has on me. If you love Percy Jackson, this is the chance to geek out with me about it. If you've never read Percy Jackson, maybe this will compel you to do so if the news of the television series hasn't already. I wish I had a Diet Coke that I could be drinking right now. I love about this too, the timing for me was kind of perfect because I am currently rereading the original series and I'm also going to reread Heroes of Olympus. I actually spent way too much money on a hardback box set of Heroes of Olympus. I want to first just talk about why I love Percy Jackson. I have a few reasons why I think Percy Jackson is one of, or if not the greatest children's literature series ever written. Controversial, maybe, how I feel completely. And here are a few reasons why. First, Rick Riordan. Rick Riordan is a fantastic writer. He knows how to blend humor and adventure with a real grounded sense of reality, and it's something you see in the original Percy Jackson series. I've been noticing while I have been rereading them as an adult that just like the best children's movies, like the best Pixar films, you have such a sense of wonder and excitement and joy for children and adults, but there's also a sense of humor that adults can appreciate, but also a light, very gentle touch of larger, deeper themes of family, of friendship, of hardship, of feeling like you're worthless. All of these difficult subjects are weaved very early on in the story, and it's something you see especially with how Percy feels about his family and his relationship with his mother, which is really beautiful. I gotta talk about Percy and Annabeth. Percabeth. I'm a huge Percy and Annabeth stan. I love seeing how Percy and Annabeth's relationship develops over 10 books. You really get to see them grow up and flourish and find a real partnership with each other. And that's what they have. They have a partnership from the get-go. It's a little rocky at first, but they earn each other's respect and trust, and they challenge each other and make each other feel safe in equal measure. You see this especially later on in the Heroes of Olympus when they are put through the ringer by the gods and goddesses, and I love seeing how they thrive and literally survive with each other. I love them. I love them. The movie did them so dirty. You know what? Those two movies did everything real. I can't talk about it. It's done now. We don't ever think about it again. Darkness. Every pretty famous middle grade series, or I think most middle grade series, get darker as they go along. That's something I just mentioned. And like I mentioned, Rick Riordan has an ability to balance darkness with lightness and fun and joy. There's one specific way I think that the darkness comes through, and that's how the fatal flaw trope that you see in so many Greek and Roman myths comes to play. These characters, because they're all demigods, have a fatal flaw, a literal fatal flaw that could kill them. For example, Percy, you find out, is someone who would do anything for his friends over himself. He would save a friend over the greater good. I think this is really interesting because it allows the characters to have this sort of flaw that isn't necessarily a flaw. It is something that could be detrimental to them, but they learn how to cope with it, or learn how to best use it to their advantage, or learn how to be balanced with it. much like the dark and the light are balanced in this series, that fatal flaw comes to play. How can I be loyal to my friends, but also make sure that I'm taking care of myself? I think that's a really important idea to showcase in a book for young readers. How can you do that? And it's something that I think about now as a 25-year-old. How can I do that? To end this section of the video, we gotta talk about Rick Riordan himself. Not just his writing, him as a human person, because I have lots of good things to say. Rick Riordan is not perfect, but he is someone who's always trying to be better for his readers. And you can really tell he does it for his readers. And you can tell when someone doesn't. For example, Rick Riordan's readers wanted his books to represent his readership better in terms of inclusivity and diversity. So when Rick wrote Heroes of Olympus, the continuation of Percy Jackson, he did so. And he seemed to do, for the most part, his research. Thoughtful representation across the board. And then when he didn't get it quite right, when, for example, Debbie Reese, who is a critic and a writer and an activist for Indigenous and Native American representation in children's literature, wrote about one of his Native American characters in Heroes of Olympus and how she felt like the representation was poor, Rick wrote an apology. Now, I can't obviously accept that apology or decide if it was good or bad, but it seemed the consensus was that people were happy that he at least addressed it and tried to make it better in later books, which is something other writers have never done. Talk about more of the emotional side about why I love Percy Jackson. Basically, when I was growing up, reading felt incredibly foreign to me. Part of this was because I had trouble reading, I had learning disabilities, so the act of reading was very exhausting for a long time, and I would get very distracted very easily. And it felt like there was a gatekeeping element to reading. Specifically, something I've been hinting at in this little video, with Harry Potter. When I was a little kid, we would listen to the audiobooks on long drives, and my sister read all of the books when they came out, and she was a huge fan. But I just didn't feel like, from a very young age, that I was allowed to be into Harry Potter because I had so much trouble with reading, and because the fandom and the fan base felt so insular. It was so big, but it felt like you had to have credentials. Like, if you said, oh, I like Harry Potter, someone would say, oh, name 5 of his spells. You know what I mean? Like, that intimidated me too. Even to this day, after reading all the Harry Potter books and really enjoying them and understanding why people love this series so much, it was something I thoroughly had fun with. I still have those moments with people. It still feels like, even after I read them, that I am not a part of this, because I didn't read them when I was a kid, because I wasn't a part of the fandom from a young age, and I never have been really part of the fandom. But you're not allowed to like Harry Potter in a casual way in certain spaces. And this isn't like some big dig at any of those people. This is just the perspective that I felt like I was in for a long time, and I still kind of feel like I'm in. I know people say that you shouldn't compare Percy Jackson to Harry Potter, and I'm not comparing them. I'm comparing the way that I felt with these two series. While Harry Potter felt like something that I could never really be a part of, I would never be a wizard at Hogwarts, always a muggle. Upon reading Percy Jackson at age 13 or 14, felt like I could be a demigod. I felt like I could go to Camp Half-Blood, and I will tell you why. I don't remember why I started reading Percy Jackson. I think it was because my older sister said, hey, I think you would like these books, and so I started reading them. But my relationship to Percy Jackson was immediately different. First of all, they were easy to read. I didn't feel stupid in language that I didn't quite understand. And at that point, my reading ability had gone up quite a bit, but that kind of feeling that I still had that I wouldn't be able to like read well, whatever that means, was still lingering. Percy Jackson is literally steeped in lore. It's steeped in myths of Greek and Roman goddesses, but I felt like it was okay if I didn't know who these people were, who, you know, any of them were outside of the characters I knew from the Disney Hercules, but I never felt bad about that. I felt, okay, great, I'm learning about all of these people right with everybody else. And it was so much fun. I never ever had a moment where I felt like I didn't know enough and felt like this story was going to be too weighty in the culture like Harry Potter. It feels like home to me. In some ways Harry Potter does too, but the home that I have with Harry Potter is a home that's not mine. It's a home that I feel like the universe and the world and the country has kind of made for us all in our culture. But Percy Jackson was a home that I built by myself, and it was one that I always felt free in. Meet people who love Percy Jackson at any age, it always feels like we're a part of this huge, happy, lovely family who's just so excited that someone else loves this thing that we love. And I've never felt that moment of, oh, you love Percy Jackson, name 5 of his gods. You know, it was always happy and easy. And I really think that that made a huge difference for me. I have never felt like Percy Jackson is gatekept. And that might be because Rick Riordan makes sure that it isn't. Saying all of that, I am thrilled and overjoyed about this adaptation, and I'm so excited for Rick Riordan, and I'm so excited for all of the Percy Jackson fans, no matter their age, all around the world. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. Have a lovely day.